You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Yo, wepa, my Comic Crusaders. Strap in, kiddos, and lock up your sketchbooks and save your game, because we got an absolute boss in the building today. All right, I'm not lying over here, man. This man blends the soul of a painter with the brain of a game developer, and he leads Lazarus Rising Games like a warrior bard. All right, I mean, that's right. We're going to be talking to a man that has been diving deep into sculpture, sketching, storytelling, and everything that this creative madman is cooking up in the lab. We're about to put on full display. So if you love indie games, if you love wild art, if you love visionary vibes, you're going to love this one. As I speak with the big boss man himself, the one, the only, Joseph, hey, Gagnepain, homie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I think that's my best intro I've had so far. That was great. Thank you so
You're
much.
a boss, bro. I mean, listen, I dove a little bit deep, man. You've been doing a lot outside of gaming too. I mean, you a nerd to the core, and we're about to dive deep. So one of my first early questions always, is where you originally from, and what is the first thing in fandom that you ever fell in love with?
Ooh, wow, that's such a great question. So first part's easy. So I actually grew up in a really small town in Maine, called the main town where I went to high school. It was a farm town. It was called Farmington. And then and that's where I generally tell people I'm from, because some people know it. But I was actually about 11 miles outside of Farmington in an even smaller town called New Vineyard. And to put into perspective how small the place I was from was, there was no police, there was no fire department. There was a little old lady who ran a town hall where you had to go into her living room and do document stuff with her. And there was one trading post that you could get some supplies at. Everything else you had to go into town for.
What are we talking about? Like a 6-block radius or something?
Oh no, this was all in the woods. There were no blocks.
Oh, he said
there was no concrete. It was we were so far out. This will give you an idea. I love to tell this story. So Simpsons had, when I was a kid, had only been out about 4 years, and we couldn't get cable. We were too far away from any cable lines.
Oh,
so
dang.
I would give a VHS tape to my friend who would record Simpsons on Sunday night. And then Monday he would give me the tape, and we would watch Simpsons as a family Monday night on tape.
Oh, good old days. Wow, well, that is some recluse shit right there. Damn, bro.
Yeah, but that's also why, that really fueled a lot of what's going on with Lazarus Rising Games, because it was actually my older brother, Chris, who was really into making up games. So, early on, we didn't really know much about Dungeons and Dragons, but at some point, because I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy now, we got one of the set of dice that had each individual die. Someone put it in like a stocking stuffer, and we didn't even know what D&D was. And my brother's brain just was like, I can make so many games out of this now. And so he would just make up games, and some of them felt like D&D. Some of them we would use our Ninja Turtle action figures, and he'd make rules and dice. But I guess, now that I've talked through it, probably one of the first things I got really big into for fandom was Ninja Turtles. So the cartoon, I didn't know the comic. The cartoon dropped in 88, and I remember randomly we came home from school and just had it on, and they did that original 5-episode miniseries. And so we saw Mondays, and we were like, we have to see every episode of this. This is so good. And then I remember that Christmas when the toys came out, we were literally like, we don't want anything else. All we want is all the Ninja Turtle action figures. And I think we actually had every single one of them except the basic foot soldier.
Okay.
We would just make them beat up the G.I. Joes when they needed to beat up the foot soldiers.
Yeah, that's what my brothers did the same shit. 'Cause, that's my gen, the Joes, Transformers and
Oh
whatnot. And
yeah.
the Turtles a little later, but I could still appreciate it. And because obviously, I was in junior high school when the movie itself dropped.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was my 5th grade birthday party. Was my mom took all our friends to see it in the theater.
Oh,
I
you
still
have a
remember that.
cool
That was still
mom, kiddo. Whatever. That's so cool.
she was
What?
great.
It, you
Yeah,
must
I
be
was
the
really
coolest
into it.
mom
I
on the block.
actually have my grandmother started a cross stitch when I was like 9. That's all Ninja Turtles, and they're riding a surfboard, and it's a giant thing. I still have it in my home,
Oh, my man.
but it was one of those things where she started it when I was 9, and then I must have been about 13 when she finally gave it to me as a gift, because she was like, "Yeah, I really underestimated how hard this was going to be to do."
Oh, man.
And I still have it matted and framed and hanging in my house. So
Oh, beautiful. So let's get into it, man. I was going to ask that. What did actually come first? Was it the brush or the game controller? Like, how did your art background shape, what eventually became your, game design philosophy?
yeah, I mean, I always had a love of the art. I've people have heard me tell this story several times, but the X-Men cartoon came out in '95. And then I picked up one of the first things I did after I started watching the cartoon for a few weeks is I was like, I've never really been a comic book guy, but I got to go read more X-Men. And I remember still my first issue of X-Men at all was X-Men 17 second series when they're fighting Omega Red. But my first issue of Uncanny, I was flipping through the back issues in the Mark Silvestri cover where Wolverine's on the X.
Oof,
I
yes.
was like, I don't know what this is, but I literally just bought it.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on here? I need this.
And I also at the same time bought a pack of the 92 Marvel masterpieces that Joe
Oh my God,
Jusko
it's the
painted.
masterpieces.
They still had those on the shelf. Like there was some packs. They were still selling them years later at my local comic shop because they didn't have enough people in my little town to buy them all out. And I still remember opening them and getting the Fantastic Four Human Torch one. And I remember looking at the pack as I went home and I was like, I don't know who this is. I've never heard of the Fantastic Four. And the art was so inspiring that I said, God, when I go back, I'm going to start reading the Fantastic Four. And that really, I was off at that point. Anytime I would see cool art for something, I'd start checking out the book. And that really cemented my love of art. And then I started to draw a lot, go through the art classes. But, I wasn't disciplined enough as a kid to develop my craft to the point where I would be able to draw like some of these amazing artists we've been able to work with. But my love for it never wavered at all. I've always just really loved comic book art and the medium and everything about comics and games. So really for Lazarus Rising Games, having the opportunity to take the comic book world that I love and meld it with the game world, my two biggest passions, has really been a dream come true. Getting to sit on the San Diego Comic-Con panel with Mark Silvestri, the dude who drew the first issue of Uncanny X-Men I ever bought, and announce Overpowers coming back with Top Cow characters, which played Darkness Cyberforce. I mean, I don't think in my life there was really a pinnacle any higher than that. I mean, sure, like, there's some that could be as even. I would love to eventually, we've been really want to work with Alex Ross. It looks like we might get to Andy Kubert, don't make that mistake. Andy Kubert has said he may do some art for the Invincible set if our schedules work out. Getting to work with all these heroes from when I was a kid is just absolutely a dream come true, and getting to then take that art and give it to the community and watch the excitement and the passion as people open our packs, which is happening right now with our first set, is it's just such a good feeling. It's such a great feeling. I can't even describe it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the geek inside of you just is exploding. I mean, look at that sweater, folks. He's showing it off. As Lazarus Rising Games is overpowered. You're going to be overpowered by the stuff that they're coming out with. So, what was it that inspired you to bring Overpower and give it the push that it's getting now? Because, again, I'm seeing a lot of fans in a very positive traction. And I know that PAX East just passed, and how was that?
Oh, I mean, the reception was fantastic. You know what? One of the things so far is so we've got this set that just dropped. So this is Edgar
Oh,
Rice
man, let me
Burroughs.
put you on the big screen here. Epa, look at that baby right there.
So this
Woo!
this is one of our booster boxes, and I believe I have a sealed one right here because I just got some. So you know we've got our sealed booster boxes, our branded watermarked plastic, um, and we were able. What's been really cool about this. So our first set, we wanted to get something out as quickly as we could because we have a tournament circuit of thousands, or we've got thousands of people that watch, but we have 6 big events per year through our league. We've just announced our pro tour, but you'll see we have our different packs, and we got like the Joe Jusko Tarzan art you see on the box.
Dude.
Philip Tan, who did Moon Knight, he's a Green Lantern artist, so he did some of the John Carter of Mars characters.
You talking about that? A lot of the packages themselves have different art on the package. Oh my God!
Do you recognize this version of Wukong? This is Jim Chung, who drew like Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yeah,
I believe he
man.
drew the Infinity Run where they first introduced the Black Order. So we, you know, this first set we licensed Edgar Rice Burroughs, which we were so happy to work with. A lot of us grew up on the old John Carter of Mars pulps, the Tarzan pulps, Carson of Venus. Now we've gotten to know throughout doing this project some of the new characters they've introduced, like Victory Harbin, who has, I believe, I shouldn't. No, they said it at the panel. She's got a cartoon coming out that I'm very excited about too.
Can
I say it? Yeah, I always get.
They said it. You're good.
They tease me. They call me the Tom Holland of Overpower because
my God,
I'm bad about keeping stuff under wraps. But
folks, if you do not know that reference, please look it up because what he just said is absolutely hysterical. That means I could probably ask questions, folks. He's going to be spilling the beans.
Yeah, I'm bad about keeping the secrets. So, you know, I'm the worst secret keeper in gaming. But yeah, so we decided. So the thing about Overpower, to kind of go back to your question, why we wanted to bring it back is because it got really sort of cheated out of its full lifespan. Meaning, back in the day, the decision was made when the X-Men movie and Spider-Man movies were coming out. And this is a more complicated story, but essentially Marvel wanted to make a game to go along with those. They got another partner in the gaming industry, and the game didn't do very well. And a part of the reason it didn't do well is because they chose to do that and discontinue Overpower, thinking they could capitalize on the new product, but not really understanding that this was such a big game and it was so beloved that players like myself were kind of mad and we're like, I'm not going to go play this new game. I just want more Overpower. And then Upper Deck ended up making a large offer to do the Versus game. And then it just, by the time that game's life was done, no one ever really, Overpower had been dead for 10 years at that point.
Damn.
So we started to hold tournaments. And I said, our circuit, which we've now handed off, another entity runs the tournament circuit. The NAOL does 6 big events over the year. We stream the matches. We do commentary. We've got, you know, a few thousand people that follow us. But we said, we really want to do a Kickstarter and get a set out to the community that shows what we can do to bring this game. And we had so many ideas we'd been developing on how we would do it. And we were lucky enough to meet the awesome people over at Edgar Rice Burroughs, Kathy, Chris, and Jim. And we just hit it off right away. You know, we all had similar interests. They were the nicest people I've ever worked with, from licensing and my previous career in film and television. Just what a great team. They made everything so easy to do. They went above and beyond for any kind of artwork we needed. And we were able to put together a set that's got characters from those pulps mixed with other kind of comic book adjacent characters, you know, public domain, but kind of people that have a lot of adjacency. Like you'll see, I've got a lot of card samples here because we've been cracking boxes, but you know, we've got like Leonidas from 300. So you might recognize this. This was actually a version of this was our New York Comic-Con promo. It was one of the first pieces of art we got done. And while we're focused on the Leonidas from Legend and, you know, the way the take is definitely a different art style, it's still something that's like comic book adjacent. It fits into our game where we have you know, the stats
Yeah,
for
it
the
does.
specific
And then Frank
characters.
Miller did the 300 comic for Dark Horse, and it was that widescreen kind of look comic. It was a big
I
looking
love
book,
that, man. How cool was that when you got that and it had the wide panels and the
right?
hardcover? Ah, I have such fond memories of picking that up. That was right when I was going through my Sin City phase too. So I was like
Oh,
300.
but that's when this man was in his fucking prime.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, he hit a level of creativity and energy during that era. You know, nowadays people say he's falling off. No, he just changed. He's different. His hands are different. You know what I mean? So, you know, of course, you know, art is up to the person and what it is. But I think Frank still got it. And, you know, he has his good days and he has his bad days.
yeah.
That's all.
But what I mean, how many just great stories? I mean, there isn't a bad Sin City graphic novel. I mean, that's in,
Please.
you know, if you're out
Are we
there,
going to get a Sin City overpowered game? Come on, bro.
we so right now we've actually talked to Frank about it a little bit.
It would be fun.
One of Frank's concerns, and the reason he, or at least from what I was told, that he hasn't done a lot of card games, is he doesn't want to have other people drawing his work, which I totally respect. It's a completely fair
So
viewpoint.
create the cards, Frank. Come on.
But one of the flip sides is one of the ways what our game really is a celebration of different art styles. So if you're not aware of exactly how we did it, when you go and buy a game like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, they still function off the rarity model, where if you're going to play in a tournament, there's going to be a powerful card you need, and that's going to be rare, and you're going to have to spend the money to get that rare. We don't like that model. You know, everything we do is thinking about us as kids buying the product. And I can tell you, when I was a kid and I was like
my heart right
trying to mow every lawn that I could mow, I was going around collecting cans just to get one pack at a time. It was not a fun experience to try to get what I needed to be able to play in a tournament. Every card in our game is available at the common or uncommon rarity level. What we do for our rares is we create these alternative art versions. So what I mean is, a lot of people play video games now for they get skins. So you can look at our regular version of Zorro, and it's got fantastic art by Gonzo Man, a Chilean artist that's pretty well known.
I love that you drop these artists' names like this, because but this is what it is. You're bringing this card level on a different level right now. That's beautiful art, bro.
Yeah, and so this is a beautiful card. So what we do for our rarity, however, though, is we find other artists that have huge names. So, for example, the one I'm about to show you is Victor Faro, who, if I remember right, I think I'm not completely good with his resume. I think he did something for DC for Arkham Asylum, but he's a DC Marvel artist. He has got such a beautiful style of painting that he does. So you can see.
Oh, shit.
When we do the rares, we take out the name, we give them the whole canvas, and the digital image doesn't even do this justice, how these gradients pop. It's just a gorgeous piece of art. So all of our rarity is going to be these different versions of the cards. So Joe Prado did our version of Poseidon. Joe Prado used to draw Aquaman. And so we said, yeah, give us a version of Poseidon, you know.
Is that like a glossy card? Because it looks like it has depth to it.
It's just the way we did the colors.
Bro.
So this isn't even the foil. Now, but every one of these is available in foil. So, for example, if you look at our Morgan Le Fay, this is a rare version of Morgan Le Fay.
Oh, nice.
But that one you can see the foiling process.
Yes. Yo, that's beautiful, bro. Who did the art on that?
This is Raymond Gay. So Raymond Gay, who does he's doing some work for Top Cow. He does some work for IDW on the Ninja Turtle book. And he did a number of different pieces of art for us. Yeah, we got so lucky. So many just great artists coming out of the woodwork. And we have so many lined up. Like David Nakayama has said he wants to do some of the Witchblade art.
No, fuck this. He's one of my favorite modern artists right now. And let me tell you, because I've seen that artwork, and what boss with him, Uko Smith. I'm like, Jesus Christ, yo.
And even just for this Edgar Rice Burroughs set, we have, we showed you Jim Chung, Philip Tan, Jay Lee from Batman Superman.
I've been following Philip's career for years, and it's like my man just elevates year after year after year.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is it like the Picasso of comics? What is this guy?
Well, it's so rewarding too to be able to like, what we want is just such a great variety of art that kids are going to have that same experience I had. I want somebody to open it up and be like, wow, this is like, look at this piece of Tarzan art, or look at this Victory Harbin card.
Right.
I want to go check out the other media that this thing is. I want to inspire people in that same way. And I think that so far we're being successful. And that kind of takes us into the next conversation about upcoming IPs.
We're going to have a lot of upcoming IPs on this comic. Before we even do that, I just want to reel it back just a tad, right? Because again, these cards look dope. What if people have experience playing, but they see this beautiful artwork? They're like, overpowered card game. Can you give us, layman's terms, basics? Like, how easy is it to begin playing the game?
So, two things. Barrier of entry, not to do with the rules or learning the game. We have done everything we can to lower that barrier of entry, from our coalition model. We have a great ambassador program. So if you're in a desert where there's only like one game store, we've got a program that's actually being tested literally as we speak on our Discord to try out the tests. That's going to launch within the next day or two on this Discord. Thank you. We're going to empower people to go in and teach other people how to play in the stores. And we're going to have a merchandise store where you can earn our custom printed learn to play mats or regular play mats.
Oh, well, check that out.
Yeah. Nice. So we've got, that's the Poseidon you were just looking at, but we've also got, like, you haven't seen this yet, but Tarkus from John Carter. We've got a double.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Who did that? Cause that's gorgeous.
That's also Raymond Gay, who did a few of our different ones. He's a great.
You went boss level, Papi. What is going on here?
And then this is one of my favorite current artists who's breaking out, Wilton Santos. That's Mina Harker from. She's from Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Winona Ryder played her. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and our version kind of do the alternative version where she continues to become a vampire afterwards and has vampire powers. So yeah, if you do this ambassador program, you're going to be able to go on and buy binders or deck boxes. We've partnered with Titan Shield. Titan Shield is doing all of our branded sleeves.
Oh, look at those sleeves, bro. Diablo, look at that artwork on that.
Yeah, that's Joe Jesko's painted Tarzan.
Yeah, how you even get Joe? What a legend, especially going back to the Marvel masterpieces. You know what I mean?
One of my heroes, such a great guy. We actually got to do an announcement panel with him at San Diego Comic-Con, which is another legend of my childhood dream come true. Joe, we really wanted to get Joe to do some original art for this set. And unfortunately, our timeline didn't line up with his prior commitments. So we were able to get in the ballpark of, I think, 50 great pieces of Joe Jesko art, and a lot of stuff people.
You make it seem like it's a small number. Fuck, 50 Joe Jesko pieces, shit.
Including some of our really gorgeous playmats. I don't think I have the playmat.
Oh my God! Stop teasing me like this. How much money you want me to spend after this?
Actually, no, I did find it. Hold on, you got it. You're gonna go nuts for this one. So,
oh my God,
this has always been one of my favorite Jesko pieces, and I said from day one, we're making a playmat of this.
What were you doing?
And this is Under the Moons of Mars.
Oh my God. Yeah, look at that. Matt,
so all of the like different creatures that he fights, the plant men from Princess of Mars, the classic four-armed apes, all the four-armed green Martians he meets in like right from the first book. You got Deja Thoris and John Carter down there ready.
Is that meant to be like a double side, one mat for two players?
Exactly. So we have multiple 2-player mats and multiple 1-player mats.
That is gorgeous, bro.
And they're great. We're playing around with different styles, but this is for those who are really into mats. These are all threaded edges, 3mm mats. So they've got a good thickness and a good quality.
And look at that art, man. That is some eye candy for the game to throw off your opponent.
So, if for whatever, we're really trying to make that barrier of entry.
Stop saying that you're trying. You just turn me on. You are doing, baby.
We're doing it. Now, what I would say as far as kind of the second half of the question, Overpower is a game that I like to explain it where I say, when I teach someone the game, a lot of times at first it seems a little overwhelming for a moment. No individual part of the game is very complicated. There are just a lot of elements that play in at once. And that's where sort of the beauty of the game comes from. It's why it's such an interesting game. So sometimes it can seem like there's a lot going on, but if you anyone that comes from like a Magic the Gathering or even a Pokemon background tends to pick it up pretty quick. If you're a little new to gaming, it's going to seem for a minute like, oh, this is a lot. Once you actually sit down and check it out and play a game or two, then you're going to be like, oh, none of this is hard. I just have to know about this and this and this. So I would say, like,
would you say it's an entry level gaming system, or you know, or kind of just a little bit of knowledge is helpful, or you know, how would
I would definitely say it's in the intermediate for difficulty, intermediate to difficult. It's definitely not like, it's not one that I see a lot of 8-year-old kids picking up and really getting. But once, you know, I started playing Overpower at 15, and it like was totally, I had no issues at all. My friends and I read the rule book. We were doing one or two things wrong, but that was even before, I'm going to really date myself. That was kind of before the internet.
Oh my God, when you have phones with cords.
I grew up 5 years behind the rest of the world, so I was still doing the rotary thing.
Oh shit, bro, bendito. I know you put that in front of a kid today, they try to dial. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
What was the famous Louis C? I think it was Louis C.K. One of the stand-ups would say you'd get mad if people had a lot of 9s in their number because you had to
know, right? It's true. You're like, mother.
Get it?
Oh my fucking God! I remember those. I made listen. If this doesn't age me, like, let me stop lying to myself. Fine.
So, you know, we even back then didn't have a super hard time with it, and to help players, I don't have the link to this, but if you Google just Overpower card game, learn to play, there's one of the videos that has a chalkboard where it says learn to play and a Zeus picture. We professionally produced that video, and I will say it is fantastic. It's
all right.
The gentleman who does those videos does that for a living. He does it for a lot of games, and he did such a great job. Yeah, so if you just do Overpower card game, learn to play, and then click it. I think it's on here somewhere, but
you have all these resources.
Go to resources.
All right, let's go to resources real quick, folks. Again, on the website, and it gives you to access the deck builder, create an account, you know, the events, rankings, card library, community decks, printable decks.
Yeah, so print and play decks.
Look how sexy this packaging is too.
And you'll notice with these starter decks too, when you get a modern starter deck, you usually get a box now with plastic and a map and tokens, and you generally don't use any of it. If you go back and look at an Overpower starter deck, these are going to look just like it. You know, the design's a little different than what you're seeing.
Let me get you on that big screen. Look at that, baby. Hey, nice.
You got
Zeus. Like a card deck, damn it.
And so you can just go in and spend your $15 and walk out with a playable
deck. They're the only card deck I ever bought, right? Back in the day. This is the only card deck I actually ever bought, but now you're inspiring me. But this is the card deck I bought, my brother, ever. This one.
Oh, Spawn. So that's actually a different game. That might be it's not the Wildstorm game. It's just the Spawn game, I think. I remember that game.
It was a starter deck, you know. But again, like you're showing, a nice little just pack of cards, not no extra shit.
And that's what it was like. Like when that
game
instructions,
you know, let me open her up. You got your instructions. There goes the little booklet, right? The little booklet right here.
Yeah, and so you'll see, I'm going to open one. This is based on our intelligence character.
Let's see what you got, baby.
This is the time detective. And you'll see, this is what we're doing is we're trying to go back and simplify this. We're not looking to milk an arm and a leg out of everyone. You're the same thing. You're going to get your little starter deck.
Nice. Check that out. Hey.
And then you're going to just get your, preset pack of cards. This one has Joan of Arc on the front.
Oof. But God damn, look at that artwork, bro. Bro.
And I will say, I know I'm biased. We created over 450 original pieces of art for this set.
What? 450?
I think it is the best art of any CCG set that's ever been out.
Is it possible to get the whole set and buying one pack one whole box of cards, or do you probably need to buy several packs and maybe get the whole set?
So so nowadays people aren't generally trying to collect every single version of the set. What's going to make it a little harder with
No
us
one's
is
like me, huh? No one's like our old school assets.
yeah, with Magic putting out a new set like every 3 months, it's sorry, I just dropped a bunch of the cards, but
No!
with Magic doing a new set every 3 months, like the idea of kind of chasing down a full set is really a thing of the past. What I'll say is essentially you can get almost all of the set in one box, meaning you'll get one copy of each playable card. However, you're not going to get all of the ultra rare variants, and you're certainly not going to get all the foil variants.
All right, so let me ask, as a numbers game for those collectors out there, like what's the ratio to getting a good card per box? You know, can you give that away, or or per a couple of boxes, like what?
We went a little foil crazy. I'll tell you with this first set.
You went foil crazy, son.
So we did multiple things with ours, which make it really fun. So with our game, Overpower is a game where you choose your 4 favorite superheroes, and there's a threat value, and you mix them together. What's great about Overpower is we design from the top down, meaning we're comic fans first, and our motto is. This comes straight from Ron Peraza, who's one of our advisors, straight from the original game. Every character is somebody's favorite. And so what a lot of companies will do is they'll take a game and they'll say, we have a mechanic in a game. Let's put throw the net out there, and whatever license we can get, we'll paint it onto our game the way that makes the most sense. And sometimes it's sort of flavored, sometimes it's not. We do not do that. We start from the top down and say, all right, you're going to pick your 4 favorite characters to make a team. Let's, for example, use Tarzan, who's one of the headliners of this set. In our game, this is the avatar for the character, but they come with cards that represent their different superpowers. And these cards are what you actually put into the deck that those avatars are going to play. What that means is if you don't have both this and a collection of these, you can't use Tarzan. And so in the old game, the packs were completely random, and it was really hard to actually get everything you needed. I remember in the first set, I had 10 of every Magneto card. I just could not get the Magneto hero card. So I couldn't
really?
So I just couldn't use Magneto.
And I this whole power set, but you couldn't use the homie.
Right. So what we do now, when you buy a character now, and you open a pack, you're going to get what we call a character stack. You get a character. This is Victory Harbin who interacts with Tarzan and John Carter. And you're going to get a set of 5 superpowers for that character.
Abilities that you could use. Awesome. Awesome.
Yep. And then you'll get a second character, and you'll get 5 of their cards. Maybe it's Deja Torres from John Carter.
Woo!
Some of that.
Wait, let me see. I'll let you guys know Deja, because she's one of the most they always tend to draw her naked. All right, so it's
so in the original pulps written in the 1920s, they generally don't wear clothes.
Yeah,
and that's evolved over the years. You can see in some of the older Joe Jusko art like this piece, we started to develop that. We have a modern sensibility. So you'll notice that our Deja Torres still pays homage to the stuff, but we took enough artistic license to give her armor.
Get more respect.
And just make her more of a badass.
God, who did that? Jesus.
That is Philip. Philip Tan did 3 pieces for Deja Torres.
Bro, what a fucking Jesus.
And then he did the character.
You are tempting me so bad right now to buy these cards. Jesus.
So when you buy a pack now, we have 17 card packs. There's no land. There's no mana.
17 cards? What? Oh, I'm afraid. Baseball cards come with 5 nowadays. Thank you. 17.
17 cards. Same price as a pack of Magic the Gathering, the biggest game on the market. Their 15 card packs have lands and tokens and advertisements. Ours don't have any of that. 17 playable cards. So you're going to get 2 characters immediately that you can put on your team and try out with every single pack you buy. Now, if you're going to be a competitive player, you can have multiple copies of these cards, meaning if you buy a box, you're not going to get 3 of every character. There's 36 packs, which means there's only, 72 individual characters you're going to get. There's 43 characters in our set. It's a little bit of a big set because we're bringing it back. So you would really have to go, I would say, at least 2 boxes and then a little bit of trading or buying on the secondary market. But because all of our playable cards are common and uncommon, you're going to be able to get that for pennies. It's not going to be an expensive chase. But
I've seen. Let me tell you, I got a playable card in the I think it was a D&D card for Doctor Strange or some shit at New York Comic Con, and I put it out day one when I got it. Like, this is not my thing. I don't have nothing like this, so let me put it out to somebody that enjoy it. Then the offer I got, I was like, oh my god, for one card. This market is insane. So it's like, so how is that collectability? I know you say you're trying to make it fair, but there anything that like some people will be like, oh, this is special, like.
So what we've done is all of the rare versions of the characters that I was showing you, like the Poseidon or the Tarzan, you can get the non-foil version. So you can get like, let me see if I've got a copy of both. So one of the things we have in our game is, all right, this is actually perfect. Let me show you this right here. So this is an artist named Bella. So Mina Harker, who I was showing you, we have our basic version of Mina Harker, which was the one that's on the deck box here and was on the play mat that I already showed you. Then we have multiple rare versions because artists wanted to do it. So Bella Racklin, who does some cards for like Marvel Snap and a bunch of other things, she painted this really cool version of Mina Harker. This is a rare. You can get this, but probably not more than $1 or $2 it's on the secondary market. It's just a rare. But then you can also get it in foil.
Oh,
and it's gorgeous.
Yes, and it pops even more.
Now, some of these foils, we just dropped the set a couple weeks ago. Some of these foils are already going for hundreds of dollars.
What?
So there's going to be a big secondary market for the foil versions of your characters. Now, what we did as a stretch goal for the Kickstarter, 20 of the characters in our set out of the 43. Remember how I told you they come in a character stack?
Yeah.
So 20 of the characters, you can actually open their entire set of cards in foil.
Oh my god.
So you might get 6 rare foils in your common slot.
What?
So you'll notice this Cthulhu, this is the common version.
Dude.
But it really pops with the foil.
Yes, it does. My god, wait. You know how to design a card. Let me tell you, homie. Holy shit. I wish I had cards like this growing up because I still got my old school G1 Marvel cards and Volume 2 in a box that I picked up from my mother's house like 2 years ago. She still had them. Oh my god.
My mother came down for Thanksgiving, and when we were kids, we were so into Overpower. Every surface she would come home from work with that, we'd make a deck and be like, nah, like get rid of thing, I'm putting a Hulk in. Get rid of this guy, I'm putting an Absorbing Man in. There would be stacks of Overpower on every counter, and she'd come home and be like, pick all these cards up. She came down for Thanksgiving, and we're right in play testing, and there were stacks of Overpower all through my house. And my mother just walked in, and she was like, it's 1995 again. There's Overpower on every surface.
See, what the hell? She probably looked back out the door like, what year am I in?
So that was very funny. But so
my mama feel that way about me and my brothers because we still into our fandom, and she goes, Jesus Christ. And she looks at me, she look at you with a white beard still into the shit. I said, I don't want to diet. Don't you worry. Stop.
Yeah, so it's we sort of think it's the best of both worlds. It's if you just want to play, even if you play Magic the Gathering already, this is such an easy game to get into. And you'll see we have the most positive community in gaming. We work very hard to give our players a lot of agency. We're always active on the Discord. I spent a few hours on my birthday yesterday chatting with people about
happy
questions.
Birthday! Thank you. Let's go, baby.
And I spent that time interacting with the community because that's what we're doing this for. We love the community. Above that is our rule books, but this is, we even do this is our learn to play rule book, our tournament guide. This is our newsletter that we put out every month. So we put out a fully produced newsletter. So you can click on any one of these. And
this song looks like an old school Wizard magazine to me right now.
And that's exactly how we designed them.
Stop it. Hold on, I'm going to open one of these windows with the PDF.
Because again, this is all about taking things that work and that we know work that people will love and bringing it back in a way that speaks to a modern audience.
And that way you guys can see. I mean, look at this.
So it's available for PDF download. There's an introduction. It updates you on where the Kickstarter is, trivia. We have people in the community write strategy articles. There's a great example of some Philip Tan art. So we show original art, and then we talk about LRG employees and let people kind of get to know us. So
I love it. This is actually a fantastic looking that. Great job, bro, on the presentation, kiddo. Shit.
Thanks.
Folks, that's how you do it. That's inspiring my ass. Like, all right, yo, I like this. But I mean, look at this character list. Jesus Christ. Look at all the characters involved in the universe here, huh?
Yeah, so that's everybody for the set one, for Edgar Rice Burroughs and the World Legends.
Amazing.
And we just had an amazing tournament through the NAOL, the North American Overpower League, down in Texas, the Western Shootout.
Western Shootout. That sounds intense, bro.
We had great attendance. It was the first event where they were using the new cards. So we're hoping by the end of the week to have the commentary and the videos up from that event. But you'll actually get to see it in play mixed with the old cards. That's something to mention, too. The game is 100% compatible with the original game.
Oh, wow. So you got an old deck. You can integrate it to your new joint. And if you have that old deck, you definitely got some rares, right?
Yeah. So you could literally just take a character from the old game like Superman or Captain America, and you could put him right down next to Cthulhu or Tarzan or Zeus.
Oh, man, Zeus, Cthulhu, and Cap. What a effing team right there. Jesus Christ. Undefeatable, bro. Undefeatable.
Yeah, so the way our game works is the characters, depending on how powerful they are, have a threat value from 15 to 23. So some characters would be hard to combine. Like Cthulhu's a 22, Zeus is a 23. Like characters like we've announced, so we'll talk about this, but we've announced our Skybound partnership. So characters like, yeah, we're so excited. I can't wait to start revealing. We're like days away from being able to leak some of the art, and you think this art is insane. Philip Tan just did an Invincible piece that is one of the most beautiful pieces of comic book art I've ever seen, and I can't wait. Can't wait to share it with people.
You're murdering me because right now, because of Invincible Battle Beast,
I can share a piece of Battle Beast art.
You can?
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Oh my God, bro, because that was like one of the number one selling comics through Skybound. Number one sold over like 400,000 copies, bro. So
I know. I'm
Battle Beast on this deck. People are about to go effing nuts.
All right, give me 1 second to hunt
You
it
take
down.
that time, bro.
All right, so it's from.
I can't imagine because again, that everything Invincible is hot, but Battle Beast specifically, people are like enamored with this character right now.
Oh, he's so fun. I love him so much. And designing him has been really fun too. Like I was saying, we start with the editorial first. We design each card individually from the top down. So we look at these 6 cards the characters come with, and we say, how do I represent all the fun, amazing aspects of these characters in one 6 cards? Yeah. So, somebody like Battle Beast, it's like, okay, so Battle Beast is going to get some like improvements if he's fighting characters that are on his threat level. He wants to take out the more powerful characters, which is exactly what his character does. So there's a lot of stuff where he can like isolate a character to get a one-on-one fight.
He's the legend killer. He's the Randy Orton of the deck, huh?
Yeah,
I see what happened over the past weekend, but hey,
So let me just check this batch right here.
No, if it's in there, all you gotta do.
I've got it. I just rearranged everything, so it's gonna take me 1 second.
No, you take your time. I mean, this is exciting. Again, such a high character. Your deck is showing this. Listen, folks, while he's doing that, we're showing off these links. Very important. Go, if you're interested in checking out the game, please visit overpowercardgame.com. Go check out their organized play as well at overpower.dev.cardi.io/rankings players network portal. But of course, they have a fire Discord. All right, so if you're on Discord, check out Overpower Lives on Discord. The link is below. I will add it also to the show notes so you can link away and make sure to join and request. Make it happen, baby.
All right. So do I just hit present here to show my screen?
Yes, you should be able to. Yes.
All right.
Pop up.
All right. So you might get a little bit of infinity vision for 1 second, but can you guys see my screen here?
I see it, and hold on, let me add it over here. Boom.
I think that's still your screen.
Hold on, remove mine and add you. There we go.
Oh, there. So don't ignore my messy desktop here, but shoot, I just had
it doesn't look so cool at Infinity. I feel like diving in.
So this is our sheet that we send out to distributors, so the retailers can learn a little bit about us. So this is us announcing our IPs. But what we did is we did show some of these cards, and this got approved, so we can share this publicly. Ooh. So it's a little hard to zoom in, but you'll see our boy Battle Beast here.
Yeah, man, you got Michonne too. What are you talking about here, baby? What?
Little Engstrom Levy on one of the power cards.
Yeah.
And then we've got, you can see some Rexplode, some Invincible.
Rick even.
Yeah. Rick with this is a teamwork, so it's usually 3 people. So Abraham, Michonne, and Rick. But yeah, I was really happy with the way this Battle Beast art. Now, these are all pulls from the comics, but what we try to do is find some of the cooler images that people might not have seen, like this deluxe edition version of Michonne when she's first introduced. Yeah. I've read every issue of Walking Dead. They're 10 feet away from me, and I'd never seen this piece of art. And I was like, we got to use it. It blew me away. So we're going to use a combination for this set of a pre-existing art and art that that we have done originally. I think if I have my way, about 60% of the art will be original. Oof. and then we'll use, like, that Battle Beast is actually I don't want to give spoilers away, so plug your ears if you don't know what happens later in the seasons in Invincible, but that's from the cover of the issue with Battle Beast and Thrak is all I'll say. But we were able to use it in a way that worked perfectly on the card. So
I'm excited. All right, so give us the last pitch here. Why do people need to pick up an Overpower set today?
I think if you love comics and you like gaming at all, and you want the experience of controlling the characters, the way we design, where we customize every special card to be a specific power, something from the comics, from the editorial, you are not going to find a game that has ever been put out that's a tabletop game where the flavor is better than this. I don't think you'll find one. On top of the fact that we have an unbelievably complicated balancing metric. So it's easy to flavor something at the sacrifice of the gameplay. We do this design process in a very difficult way. It's not always the funnest. It is a very tough process, but by us taking our passion and putting that time in, we have got almost universally positive feedback on every aspect of flavor and game balance. And I really think you are going to get a player experience and a fan experience playing Overpower that is unlike any game that you're going to play. And if you're a comic fan of any of these characters, after you play a little bit, you're not going to be able to stop, and you're not going to be able to wait to try the next character. You're going to be like, wow, if this guy plays like this, I got to see what Rexplode does. I have to see what Negan and the Saviors are like. So that's my pitch. This is the tabletop equivalent of when all your buddies got together and played Street Fighter. And
let's go, baby. Woo, I love it. Yeah, I know those good nights.
And we miss those nights, because even now I get frustrated. I'll get a new game. You can't even play split screen on him anymore. And it's like, now you play separated from each other. This people forget how fun it is to get together in a group and
My
do these
favorite
things.
was WCW versus NWO and the N64. Put on those 4 controllers and let's have the Royal Rumble. Good times. A couple of beers, a couple of
Oh
smokes,
my
your
God.
favorite snacks. Oh
Dude,
my! You could stay there for hours.
and it was always the Royal Rumble. That was the best. Doing the 4-player Royal. I
Oh
used to
yeah,
play that
especially
game
when you would
so
go
much.
against someone. My favorite was going against my ex-brother-in-law because he would always be an asshole. So we would all behind his back say, "Okay, when he's coming in, we're going to take him out immediately." So we would stop fighting to slam him with a chair. He's out. He goes, "Why do you guys keep kicking me out?" I'm like, "All right, because you're an asshole." Because he would be outside. He would be the one grabbing you. Remember that? They would pull
Yeah,
you
you'd
out.
like pull the ankles.
Yeah, remember that? I'm like, oh man, I used to hate him because he had to stay away from it. I'm like, that's why. Stop doing that.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
Good
So
fun.
I feel like you will have the same experience with your friends. You
I
guys are going
can't
to get
wait.
together and you're going to be like, oh my God, this character's doing this. All right, we got to go again. You know, it creates that camaraderie and that community that we all
I've
need
never
so
looked
much.
before.
We live in a world right now that is trying so desperately to keep us separated through digital media.
You're
The
right.
digital's taken over. They want us to keep spending our money there. And I feel like there's a generation of kids that haven't even got quite the same experience we got with just being in the same room with your friends as you do
Even
this
being
stuff.
in an arcade and doing the 2-player. I mean, I grew up back in the days of
Yeah.
New York. 42nd Street still had the OG arcades with the quarter. We would break night. My boys beating everybody's ass in Mortal Kombat, where everybody was putting their quarters up. You know,
Yeah, to play the next games, you know? And I think that look, I love video. Don't get me wrong. I love gaming. I play video games online, but there's a space for both. And
yes.
I think Overpower is the one that when sets come out, you're not going to be able to wait to draft this with your friends, to get together on a Friday night and play a bunch of games. It's just that game. And
The Overpower is the unifier in the gaming universe to bring people back together, baby. That's what the Overpower is. It's going to overpower your emotions and fun. That's what's going to happen, baby. I cannot wait, bro. So last question here, because
Yes.
it is con season, man. And we're talking about this game. We saw your website. We saw the beauty of your cards in hand. But we want to touch. We want to buy. We want to pocket them. Where can we see you and Overpower in person and play hands-on?
So a lot of different options. Con appearances are a great place to come out. We're working the booths, so you can come meet myself, the lead designer, our creative director, our graphic designer actually wanted to just hang out at the booth. So he did some demos and came to PAX East. So a
Nice.
lot of the people involved in the creation are there. So we're going to be at now still PAX West and PAX Unplugged. Definitely come see us at either one of those.
Woo.
We have a big presence at Origins. If you go to Bailey's to drink after Origins, which a lot of people do, you're going to notice some Overpower branded pint glasses for Friday and
Oh,
Saturday.
hey.
We're going to be at San Diego and New York Comic Con.
I'm going to
And
see
then-
your ass at San Diego and save me a
Absolutely.
pint glass, por favor.
Absolutely. We unfortunately weren't able to make the deadlines for Gen Con this year, but it's on the radar for next year.
Okay.
That's just our con appearances. We are
Nice.
also we have distribution through GTS and ACD distribution, two of the greatest game distributors in the world, but that's for US distribution. So you can go on. I know GTS's pre-sales are up right now. So if you're a retailer and you're interested in the game, check us out with GTS. You can get the fact sheet about all the things we do for incentives for stores. And there's a lot, our head of distribution, James Sanderson, he used to work at GTS. And so he also ran a game store, my home store. I'll plug you guys always, Pandemonium Books and Games in Central Square in Cambridge, Mass. So he understands the importance of a brick and mortar store to a game like Overpower that's sold in packs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a ton of incentives for stores, but you're going to start seeing this on your store shelves over the next year. And I think the Invincible set will be pretty widespread. If you want Edgar Rice Burroughs, you're probably going to have to look a little harder because it's not going to be as widespread of a set till we really get established. There's some great online dealers that we've partnered with. One of the ones that has partnered with us since the beginning, if you're an Overpower player, theorangeking.com. That's a place where he bought into the Kickstarter at a retail level and bought a ton of products. So he's got sealed boxes. He's got individual cards. He's got however you want to consume the game. That's somebody today you can go online and start buying into his inventory. And he's the guy that runs that is a great guy. So there's ways to get the set immediately if you're ravenous. And or you can, the last thing I'll say is, if Overpower seems like it's something that's fun, try it out. We have a great ambassador program where if you go to your local game store and say, hey, I don't know if you're interested in this game, but I want to build a community here. I signed up as an ambassador. I took the test. I'd like to come in and teach people the game. Every person they sign up on our player network portal that you had up earlier, they're going to get points that they can spend on the play mats and the deck boxes and the binders, t-shirts, hats. We're going to have a merchandise store where being an ambassador for our game gives you a ton of perks that you can get into.
A nice bunch of swag, huh? Wepa!
And that's really how we're looking. We're do everything for the community, but we're symbiotic. We're relying on the community to go out there and build the local play communities out. So we're really pushing this ambassador program and making it worthwhile.
I know someone perfect for you. I have to send your way. A big shout out to my man, the Random Dude. He's a big card player, and I think that he would be actually perfect for that ambassador program and more. And folks, this is what you gotta do. You want to get involved, please. The links are below. I'll be showing these off. It's the overpoweredcardgame.com. Support indie games, baby. Of course, this is what they're doing, man. They're rocking it, baby. Check out for organized play at overpower.dev.card.io. Link is below, very easy. And I'll be adding this one, which is their Discord. Overpower Live. So that's the very last. What can people expect on this Discord?
Oh, sorry, I cut out a little bit.
What can people expect on this Discord?
A great, positive, supportive community. That's what's been great about the Discord. We've really cultivated. There's people in our battle rooms who will do they'll lean their laptop against stuff so they can show people how to play. We're the kind of place where you come into the space and you ask a basic question that's been asked 100 times. You're not going to get anybody being like, read the rules, go to the FAQ. Everybody's like, we're so happy you're here. Here's the answer to your question. It's such a positive and supportive place. That's what you're going to find when you get there. And I love it. It just really, it gives it a feel of agency and camaraderie and that you're not going to find with other games. And that's really important to us. We're trying to create a holistic experience from the top down where people can make friends, people can unwind, people feel safe from a lot of the negativity that we're bombarded with constantly on regular internet and social media. So it's just a great place to ask about the game, learn about the game, and celebrate the game.
There we go, folks. That's what it is. You better check out this amazing brand today. So check out overpoweredcardgame.com. As I've been saying, check out that website. Stay tuned with everything that's coming up. All the links are below. Joseph, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. For you Crusaders that were there watching, I see you. Thank you for tuning in and for being shy and not saying anything. Like always, I will appreciate you guys saying even hello. Come on, man. Celebrate my man over here. You got some fire stuff for you. Stay tuned for the greatness of Overpower. It is Joseph A. Gagnepain and Almega. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.